Hello, hello. It's time for fishing, friends. Hey, how's everybody doing? It's Fishing Friends with Danny and Gina. I'm Danny.
And I'm Gina.
This here's Lazuli, and that's Marco.
So, hello.
Oh, man.
Hello.
And I got Tundra here between my legs trying to get up on my lap. Ugh. We got all the animals here tonight. Except there's no fish behind me because I still need to get this tank moved since I don't have those African cichlids, so I can get my saltwater tank out here and really start setting that up. But man, I am trying to get myself all squared away, kind of behind on some of my bills and stuff. But yep, I will get all that figured out, and then I will start putting more stuff into saltwater then. But let's say hello to people here in the chat. Let's see, we got Zen Ginger and Lady Rorschach have been waiting around for so long, as is only Oscars. They were here like super early, checking in. We got Chewy Lunatic Fringes here. We got Mark Sturlson. We got Sky Dancer. We got a lot of chatting. There we go. We got Chris Aquazone. We got Richard Reynolds is here. We got Skull Aquatics. We got Stephen P. 2003 Aquatics.
Steven.
Chris Doniger. Craig Doniger. Craig's Catfish Cave. And it looks like that's it. Oh, wait. I keep scrolling. Silver Creek Aquatics and Fish Fam Christmas. Fish Fam Christmas. I don't know who that is, but that's a little early. It's only like September. Like, wow. Liquid Zoo Only Fins. How's it going? And I'm finally down at the bottom. Wow. People have been chatting like crazy. We're only 3 minutes in. And like, I can't even see anything that everybody's been saying. First Nation representation. Okay, now I got to figure out what they're talking about with these First Nation things. Let's scroll back up through all this flow. First Nation people looked after the press with our public broadcasters. Something about catching the fish, saving the fish. I don't know what they're talking about. It's kind of difficult to try and read this backwards. So hopefully, I don't know. I'm tired of that. But yeah, some good things apparently are happening, which is awesome. Lots of good things have been happening. We got Genepi 2005. I I don't remember what those years are. Was it the year you got your first fish tank? Or I don't know. I know you guys are older than 2003 and 2005. You guys aren't little kids. Wow, great, we got so many people here so fast. 20 people watching already, and I'm only like 4.5 minutes in. So thank you, everybody. Be sure to smash that like button as well to let everybody know. Oh, high school graduation year. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. The salmon record for Lake. after they did some modifications to the dams on the Columbia River in Washington, Oregon. Oh, there's a great record number of salmon in the lake. Gotcha. I know, right? So we're quickly it's like birds are so much fun, and like my sister ended up getting parakeets. All of a sudden, like I get a picture, and she's like, "It's your fault," and she sends me a picture of her parakeets, and oh man, did I save that text or did I delete it? No, I deleted it. I'm terrible at keeping texts. I like my phone to be nice and clean. So if the conversation is complete, like text delete. Birds are obnoxious, but yes, they are, Bunny Viper. Great to see you. It really depends on what birds you get, though. Like, and the bird can also be like a reflection of you. So if you're sitting there and screaming all the time or whatever, your birds are going to be sitting there and screaming all the time.
I love you. I love you. Hello.
Exactly. It depends on the species of bird too. African greys are definitely
Pew, pew, pew.
more interesting for sure. Oh my goodness, just listening to Marco just making all the different noises and stuff that she makes is super good. Quiet and not obnoxious. Well, I don't know. A quiet bird is not necessarily a good thing. So I like to just play all different noises and stuff when I'm gone, so that my birds just have sounds going all the time. It makes them happier. When they're singing and making noises, that just makes me happy because I know that they are happy. And here comes Scotty the Fish Freak with his favorite live streamer, Marco.
Yep. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Chickens, doves, pigeons, peacocks, and quail. Nice. There's a lot of crazy pigeons out there. I've seen some beautiful pictures of these different pigeons, and apparently pigeons and doves are great pet birds as well. And they're actually generally more quiet and make more of the those calm. Peekaboo. What a lovely. I know. What a lovely list of avians. Exactly.
Peekaboo.
Yeah. My bird. Yeah. I definitely have to watch my mouth around this guy. Sometimes I get a little worried that he's going to end up repeating the wrong thing.
Peekaboo.
Okay. Italian sickness. A foul mouth. Yeah. That's great. Oh man. Oh yeah, pigeon racing. Now, see, that's some really cool stuff too. Like with the homing pigeons, how they like turn it into like pigeon racing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But let's see. Those little tree frogs and stuff that I brought in from the pond, they're all still doing fine. I see them crawling around in their little enclosure, which just makes me really happy. But then I remember last week I was talking about the female swordtail that I got from Rusty Russell's fish room during the Triple Crown, and I was hoping that she was hit from the male before he jumped tank. Well, like the very next day, Sunday, like I wake up and I'm looking in the tank, and sure enough, there's a couple little babies in there. So there's not a lot of babies. I think I've only seen three little babies, but hopefully there's at least one male in there. And I mean, when it really comes down to it, if she had uh, one batch of babies, that potentially means that she has enough sperm to make another batch of babies. So we'll see how this goes. Snoochie Booch, I haven't seen you in one of my live streams in a while there, Snoochie Booch. Great to see you. Another military veteran fish keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like living flying beef, like that's what it really comes down to. When like keeping birds, like I I let my parakeets like fly around and stuff and do their thing. Um, whereas like I would really love to keep like some bigger birds. I'd really love to have like a pet raven, or like oh my gosh, I'd love to get into like falconry and have like a red-tailed hawk or something like that as a pet. But I would want to do it like completely right. I'd want to have like a really big like aviary outside. Mine's a little parakeet, a budgerigar from Australia, but mine's been line bred to get some different colors from the natural. So the natural parakeet that you see wild in Australia, they have the yellow face, the green body, and like speckling and stuff. Eventually, through breeding, they were able to find blues and different stuff that were recessive genes. And now my guy, he's actually mostly white, but he's got some blue and then some of that gray like speckling on there. Yes, I have seen Sam. That's an awesome raven. And there's another raven out there that gosh, I'm blanking on the name right now, but a Mischief. I think Mischief the raven. That raven is awesome. Has like full conversations. They the owner she puts like a hidden camera in his enclosure and just like does like 10-minute long videos of random things that Mischief says or does, and one of them like the ravens just start singing a song and it's like in tune and everything, and then like it starts like, oh no, what is that? They sing lots of funny things and apparently even says a curse word in one of the videos, but I was listening close and I didn't hear it, so maybe it was just one of those things that it kind of sounded like it, so somebody mentioned it, and so she had to put like a disclaimer on the video or whatever. But yeah, that's some really cool videos out there of Mischief the Raven. Two more squabs. Squab. Yeah, ravens are awesome. All the different corvids. I'd actually really like to have a magpie. Because they have like the white body and then like the black face with the black wings. They're really cool. And then apparently what they call the ravens in England, like an English raven, has coloration kind of similar to a magpie. So it's like I don't know. I guess it really just depends on what you call it. But they're all, corvid species of bird. Or is that the genus? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Squeak, squeak. Squeak, squeak.
Tomcat is dumb. It should just go away.
It should. Yep. Agreed. Yoo-hoo. Woof. 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 Yoo-hoo.
Kites are cool. There's another bird in like the corvid family called a rook. Those are very interesting looking birds. They kind of look like a raven on meth. like they're just kind of scraggly looking and got like a yeah. Like that's just the only way I can really describe it. Like here, I'm gonna share this picture, but you gotta see. Right? See? It's like a raven on meth.
Yeah. Yep.
She was just laughing. That's so great.
That's her. She's got me cracking up.
I know. Yeah. Kites are like the hawk. Yeah. We also have falcons here in even in Missouri. I was really surprised to see a falcon.
Yep.
You don't typically see the falcons around the suburbs so much. You see them a little bit more in the more urban areas, whereas red-tailed hawks, they live right amongst everybody here in the cities and stuff like that. Red-tailed hawks and goshawks. We have a lot of different types of what they call the chicken hawks here in Missouri. Like they actually get that name from the speckling coloration on the chest.
Go on. Go poop.
Magpies raiding my chicken coop. Yeah. That sucks.
Go poop.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing there, Silver Creek and Quiet. It's like Gina's just been like extra quiet. The bird's just been talking.
Yep. She's been chatty, so I let her talk.
Yeah.
Storm? Storm? You up there?
I didn't formally say hi to Johnny at Dan's Fish. Great to have you here. See, is
What's
there
up?
anyone else that I missed? I don't think so. I think I'm pretty much all caught up here. If anyone is willing to share a room at the Keystone Clash, Andreas Tanke from Germany is looking to attend the clash, but we have no rooms available. Great way to save money. And not many can say they shared a room with someone that has a pleco named after them.
Good girl.
That's very interesting. Well, I'm not going to the clash. I'm not driving up that far this year. Like I said, right at the beginning of the stream, I'm already kind of behind on bills and stuff. All this crazy inflation and then some changes at my job and stuff. It's just like...
Yeah. Yeah, the store is going to need me. It's right at the beginning of our when our season's supposed to pick up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They changed the way our commission works, which is a little aggravating because this week I did, relatively good compared to what I've been doing, and under the old commission standards, I would have hit 5%, almost 7% commission, whereas with the new standards, I, just hit the 3% commission. And so it's like when it really comes down to it, they in a way took like, $150 to $200 away from me, which kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. And then with all the different inflation and stuff going too, some more of our products went up again and all this different stuff. And so some things that I would be selling, I'm not selling anymore. So in general, people are just buying less now than they used to. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Things are not looking good in today's world.
I went home early yesterday to cut hours. I went home at like 2:30, so I got like 5 hours cut.
Yeah. I was taking a break at work the other day, and I saw you on Misfits channel again doing a live stream. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, on Thursday?
Yeah, you're taking over Brendan's channel.
Yeah, he had to work. He had scheduled it in the morning, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna stream. Okay, cool. Do you want me up with you?" And he goes, "Oh, I canceled it because I have a work meeting." I was like, "Well, I'll hop up there for you." And he goes, "Oh, well, I'm already like at work about to meet another client." And I was like, I'll figure it. I'll schedule it for you. It's fine because he has me set as an admin." And I was like, he's like, "Thank you so much. You're a rock star." I was like, "I'm your co-host. That's what I'm here for." So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm taking over his channel.
Yeah.
It is fine.
I won't ever give anybody admin powers.
Oh, speaking of which, this Thursday, hopefully, I get all my stuff in. I'm doing my 200 subscriber giveaway. I have it scheduled.
I saw that.
I have it scheduled. I have to tweak a few things. So I realized that one of my distributors who we get our main stuff from is off. They're closed on Monday. So I don't think those products are going to come in time. So I'm trying to get everything switched over to the other distributor because they ship like overnight. So it's not going to be the Hikari wafers. It's going to be V2O's spirulina wafers.
Okay.
So I need to tweak my thumbnail and take the Hikari off and put the V2O.
I mean, either way, whatever you have to do, when it comes down to it, people are understanding and they're patient. So if you don't necessarily have it the day you're doing the giveaway, like, okay, right. So you won't get it, on Wednesday, you'll get it on Saturday instead. Like,
that's true. Why did I think I had to have it in my hand?
When it comes down to it.
Oh my God.
Like, I reached 500 subscribers now. I'm trying to plan my 500 subscriber giveaway. I'm probably going to do it separately from Fish and Friends just because like I don't want to necessarily take away from what this stream is. But when it really comes down to it, I still have the boxes and the products sitting here from my 400 subscriber giveaway that I haven't even sent out yet. So I've let everybody know that it's just like, I'm sorry, like things came up, like I have it here, like I just have with work and stuff, like I just haven't been able to send it out. Because really when it comes down to it, to get them to the post office on time, like I either have to do it while I'm working, which is like unethical or whatever, like it doesn't seem right or whatever. Even if I would like take a lunch break at that point and like do it that way, it just doesn't really feel right. Or I have to like wake up early on a Saturday and like get there before they close because they close at like noon. And it's like, that's plenty of time, they close at noon, but man, like I just like I like to sleep on that Saturday and I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
I feel that. Tend to not get out of bed until the lights turn on my fish tanks in my bedroom, which that happens at 11. So,
yeah, I wouldn't mind if you did the giveaway this time because we usually have a good turnout. So
we do, yeah. But now that I have that special community tab, I can let people know. Oh, giveaway is coming, on such and such day. Mark your calendars, stuff like that. So. I don't know.
Snoochie Boost asked me, he's like, Gina, has your conure gotten less bitey? No, she's just in a good mood today. She's just being a good bird today.
Yeah. Yeah,
now
birds
that I'm
definitely
older.
have their moods. My guy's definitely gotten a lot better at it, but there was days that I would take him out and I'd be playing with him and he'd be all up on my nose one day, and then the very next day I'd go in there and I'd try and pull him out of the cage and he'd just be like, I'm like, no, I'm not going out. Like, so it's just like, okay, fine, dude. Like, you do your thing.
Birds have their good and their bad days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
all animals sort
Mm-hmm.
of have their sorts of like moods and stuff like that.
Yep.
I know, like some days my
Yeah,
Tundra will be super well
Oh, I
behaved,
also need to tweak.
and then there'll be some weeks that she'll just be wanting to
Yeah.
like break
I
open
also need
this
to
door like every single day
tweak
or
my.
whatever.
Yeah. Sorry, my internet's being weird.
Yeah.
I also need to tweak my description and stuff because I've had a couple other people throw stuff in for my giveaway. Pet Sonics reached out to me and he's gonna donate some stuff for my giveaway. I think I have like 12 things to give away now. It's crazy.
Nice. I think my first giveaway stream that I think I did, I don't think I did it necessarily at 100 subscribers, or maybe I did. I think I've done one at every subscribe, like every 100 subscribers. My first one, I had like Kevin's Canines and Aquatics and I don't, maybe Diego with Pet Sonics. Like, I don't remember who all, but like 2, 3, maybe even up to like 4 people just like threw in some stuff too or whatever. Like I was giving away like one aquarium co-op gift card, and then like Kevin's like, well, I'm gonna give away an Amazon gift card, and somebody's like, I'm gonna give away this, and it's like, okay, sweet. Let's keep it going. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, giveaways are so much fun. Do you have an idea of what your plan is? Like, are you gonna do like a wheel? You gonna do like, yeah.
Yep.
The wheel of losers is the most effective way. I feel like.
Yeah, it's the most fair. And
for the most effective.
Yeah, for the algae pellets, it's actually like a multi-pound bag, so I'm gonna split them up into half-pound bags, and have like 4 winners for that. And it'll just, I don't know, we're still working out the kinks, but yeah, it'll be the wheel of losers.
Nice, because apparently, like, yeah, the StreamYard like random giveaway winner thing that's apparently pretty rigged. I've seen the same people win like multiple times, and it was funny. Like I even in the Aquatic Morning Show, I pointed out like, yeah, the StreamYard thing is totally rigged, and then right after I say it's totally rigged, I won. I'm like, yeah, see, it's totally rigged.
Right.
Man. Yeah. But yes, as Lady Rorschach said, that is a great question there, Snoochie Booch. How do we feel about buying birds from big box stores? Almost bought one home from Petco, but read to stay away from them.
So,
home from Petco.
I have opinions on that. So the parakeets are mostly fine. They're not hand tame at all. So if you're wanting to be able to handle it like how Danny does with his, it's going to take a lot of work. The bigger birds, it's pretty much the same. They're not really hand tame. The conures are advertised as being hand fed, but I bought a conure from Petco because when I worked there, I bonded with it. And he ended up having avian bornavirus, which is like HIV for birds. Something that wild birds get that, birds in the pet industry should not have. Like, they should be captive bred and not taken from the wild to avoid diseases like that. And he had it, and I had him all of 8 months and spent about $5,000 in vet bills in that 8 months just trying to suppress the condition as best I could, but it's a nerve attack
So it's
virus.
really heartbreaking too, like,
But
not being able to do anything.
I loved that bird. That Nathan says the Patch was the reason we got Marco because we just fell in love with birds, and then Marco's the reason why we're never gonna get birds again. Is what Nathan said.
I mean, hey, yeah, I can get that and see, like, before I tell what I feel about buying birds from pet stores and stuff. I just, like, my old roommate has a dog, Nebula. She's the absolute most perfect dog ever. We left our old rental house one time, and we left like a hot dog in a bun on a paper plate right there on the couch next to her. Didn't say like no or nothing. We just left it there, and we left, and we're gone for like an hour and a half, and we came back, and sure enough, that hot dog in the bun was still sitting there, like she didn't touch it. And so it's like this dog was absolutely perfect. The only time she ever screwed up was like she used the bathroom in the house like a couple times, and that was when we were like gone for like 12 hours or something like that. So it's like you can't like expect every like perfection, and so it's like I am so nervous to ever get a dog because like
the standard is so high.
Right, my standard is so high for dogs that it's just like I'm gonna get one dog and it's just gonna completely ruin it for me.
Yep. I'll have to get my old videos of Patch and make a couple shorts out of it. He was so trusting. He was what we call in the pet and the bird ownership. He was a shirt bird. He actually liked being in my shirt. And I could just like pick him up and flip him upside down. He trusted me so much. Oh my God, he was the best.
Yeah. But okay, so now for my answer, I kind of agree with Gina. Like, you got to be careful. But I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with it. Both of my parakeets came from Pet Supplies Plus where I worked. They were both injured, and so that's why I took them home. The Lazuli, the first one that I got, he was injured from the previous owner. Somebody probably bought it for their kids. Their kids like immediately like opened the cage, and he probably flew to a window and hit the window and just kind of messed up his wing and his foot a little bit. But when I took him to the vet said that he is fine. He's healing fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. So that's what I did. And sure enough, he's flying like all around my house now. So he's all cool. Lapis, the second one, oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was with toys. I was playing with him at work when I worked at Petco. He was the best.
He's beautiful too. Wow. All the bright colors.
Mm-hmm.
But
he would wear a harness, and I would take him out fishing with me.
No, nice.
Yep.
Now see, Lapis has had some sort of like weird like birth defect or something to where she like couldn't really stand up all the way and like really sort of struggled walking on like the bottom. She's okay when she perches and she'll climb up the cage and stuff like that. But yeah, she kind of struggles with the standard like graded bottom of a bird cage. So with her, it's better to put like a flat layer on top of it, like newspaper and stuff, and then she gets around better. But she's gotten a lot better over time now, and she's pretty much like any regular bird. But yeah, like Gina said, they are not hand raised at all. They are raised in a big parakeet factory, basically, and just given bird seed, and that's pretty much it. And so you might not even get them to want to eat like fruits and vegetables at all. I can't get these guys to eat lettuce or spinach or any of the peppers that I pick from my yard. I've even put like fresh picked strawberries, blueberries, blackberries in there. Even tried to break them up a little bit to try and get like the scents to be more active, because like maybe if they smelled it more, they'd want to go for it. They don't care about any of the fresh fruits or vegetables. They just want their bird seed and their millet sticks. And what's really funny is lazuli. I get the really like the good like bird seed mix that has like the pellets and the seeds and like all that stuff in there that's supposed to be more of like a well balanced like meal. And he will literally just go for the little bitty seeds and he'll pick all around the pellets. Won't touch the pellets at all. Won't touch like any of the extra stuff in there. Just wants the little bitty like tan seeds that I don't even know what they're seeds for. But that's
Are they
all.
brown?
No, yeah, the little round tan seeds.
Those are millet.
The millet seeds. That's all he wants is the millet seeds. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I don't have any experience with birds outside of the parakeets because that's all we had at Pet Supplies Plus. So that's all I got for it. Now, if you're buying, when it comes to other birds and stuff, I would definitely try and get them from a place that specializes in that. Like there's a I think Gina was telling me about like a bird specialty store that's like called like the bird cage or something like that.
Wholesale birding cage.
Wholesale birding cage. Like they have like Quaker parrot babies and stuff like that you can buy out there. Like I would get those type of birds from that sort of place. I wouldn't get them from your big box store necessarily because
they work on hand taming also.
Yeah, because those are actually hand tamed and hand fed, and it really does make a huge difference when the birds have interaction from birth of being around humans than like just like dealing like they're more like a wild bird. It's really hard to get them to understand that you're not going to hurt them when the only experience with hands that they have is hands going in the cage and scrubbing everything down and moving around real quick.
Yeah.
They don't experience like hands in a good way at all. So
Lady Rorschach asked, or she's made a comment earlier that I kind of want to touch on. At the same time, it is a living thing. You want to help them to get them out of those hard conditions. That's kind of the controversy in parrot keeping right now is that, you know, you hate to see big box stores like Petco sell these birds and you want to save them, but then you're adding to the problem by them making money off of it, then they just replace it. So it's a catch-22. The way to show that you don't want them to sell them is to not buy them, but then yes, that's an animal that's not in the best condition. So
see, that's kind of funny there, Johnny, because we always had a sign up about our ferrets like, you know, beware, we will bite and stuff like that, because not all the ferrets, some, it seemed like every batch of like 3 or 4 ferrets you would get, you'd have one that was just super sweet. And the rest of them are just like finger.
Or the opposite. You'll get 2 or like 1 or 2 will be super sweet. And you got that one crazy that just lunges for you as soon as you put your hand in the cage. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. That was for real. Like, we had 2 that were like really sweet. One that was like curious and would maybe bite you if you just like were like really messing with like your finger and stuff. And then like, the one that if you had your hand anywhere near the cage, like he was on it and he was biting it and just like, and he was drawing blood too. Like, those ferrets are really nuts and they definitely all have their own unique personality for sure. And that's what is really unfortunate about like the the different rules and things that we have with different stuff about, with COVID and things like that too with the animals, because we would have some people coming in that they like knew what they were talking about with ferrets. They've had several ferrets, they've raised ferrets. I think they even bred ferrets before. And some people like that, we would kind of break the rules and we'd let them kind of handle the ferrets. But in general, we wouldn't let people handle the ferrets or anything like that. And so it was kind of a double-edged sword, because people wouldn't necessarily know if the ferret they were picking was like a good ferret or a bad ferret. They didn't know how it was going to react to them and stuff like that. So I don't know. But it's also just like the same thing with like parakeets and all that stuff too. You're picking them out by what they look like. You're not like picking them out by personality and stuff like that most of the time. So, but that's why me personally, I like to just go to a pet store and just spend time there and just observe the animals, and just that's how I pick mine out. Like, I don't necessarily go by their looks. I go by how they're acting. And that's how I ended up with the most amazing cat in the world too. Because I got her from PetSmart. I adopted her from PetSmart. And people are like, oh, you should never get a cat from PetSmart, Petco, whatever. It's like, I got my cat from there and she's amazing. She was 3 months old. She already had all of her shots and was all fixed. And it's like, I'm going back into the little cat room with all the cat cages, and all the kittens are there. And I'm with my girlfriend at the time. And she's like, oh, but that little guy is cute, and this one's cute, and all that. And they're all roughhousing and doing this thing. And while all the kittens are wrestling and roughhousing and just making a mess of everything, here comes this little white cat with gray speckles and just walks right up to me and starts sniffing my hand, and then starts rubbing her head right on my hand, just headbutts my hand. And so I just pick her right up, and she just fits right in my shoulder perfectly, and is just sitting there and just letting me pet her. And I'm just like immediately like, this is my cat. And my girlfriend's like, well, don't you want to like mess with any of the other ones? I'm like, yeah, I guess I could, but I'm pretty sure this is my cat. And so like I put her down, and I'm like trying to pick up the other ones. They don't want anything to do with me. They're just like fighting to be picked up and just wanting to get back to roughhousing and all that. Whereas this little girl was just a complete sweetheart and just wanted to be held and just all that. And I'm like, this is my cat.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the cats we have at the local Petco are rescues. That's where we got ours. Yes, they are.
Yeah. Most of the time they're rescues. And so that's how you can find some good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Victoria Lee Creates.
Something else I was going to say about buying birds at a specialty store. What's also really nice is that they do a lot of times get babies that are still being hand fed, and you can start making payments or put money down on it, and you can go in there whenever you can. It doesn't have to be every day, every 3 hours, but you can go in there when you can, and you hand feed that bird and you build that bond with them before you're able to even take it home. It's really awesome. They teach you how to do it, and that helps build that bond at such a young age, especially with the bigger birds like the macaws, the grays. They'll do it with conures too. Sometimes cockatiels. Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy there, buddy. Yeah, female ferrets are... There's a whole misunderstanding with ferrets too. And then people want to like breed their ferrets, or they think they want a male and female, but they have no idea how like traumatizing the ferret breeding experience is, to where it's like if they really knew what was all involved with it, they would not want their kids anywhere near that at all.
Yeah.
Because to make a long story short, the male basically just like drags the female around by her neck and has his way with her, like while she's screaming the whole time. So
yeah.
it's not. And that's the child safe version. Like think beta breeding but like with ferrets and like even worse. But oh, Richard, yeah, did you keep that chameleon there, Richard? And also, where exactly do you live? Because if it gets cold enough to where it gets down to like 40 degrees or whatever where you live, like those chameleons are not breeding where you're at. That was let go somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
nice.
used to
So
say,
you did keep it. You bought a zoom in enclosure and some crickets. It's pretty thin. Yeah. Somebody probably let their chameleon go, or they let their chameleon outside in their backyard and lost it.
yep.
But yeah, it's lucky you found it, and hopefully you're gonna take good care of it. Uh, oh, could you explain a bit, please? Curious eyes. I'll pass.
Yep.
Watching that thought process go out in chat is just great. Yeah, exactly. Like you want to hear about it, and then I tell you a little bit about it, and then you're like, never mind. I wish I didn't know that.
Yeah, he lives in Southwest Florida. Yep. They're wild in Florida. Same with
Yeah,
the
totally
iguanas,
good.
same with the ball pythons. Yep.
Yeah, I actually did hear about uh, chameleons breeding down there in Florida. Everything is breeding down there in Florida. Like, I'm sorry, but Florida and California both need to just fall off.
Well, and that's why Florida, or that's why California has so many like laws against things that you can have as pets because they will reproduce there. Florida just never regulated it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's irresponsible people. They'll get
Yep.
an animal and then they don't want it anymore, and so they just let it go, and then they end up just breeding and stuff like that. But yeah, ferrets are definitely savage. Victoria Lee creates like
I once was sold a couple of ferrets. I warned them. I warned them. I was like, "They're he's super sweet in the store because we don't put up with their shit. Um, but there's gonna be an adjustment period. They're like toddlers. They're gonna test their boundaries. So it's gonna be like a 2 week adjustment period where he's not gonna use his litter box. You need to like retrain him how to use the litter box. He's gonna bite you super hard because they're always pushing that line.
yep.
Um, he's gonna act like a nutso. He's gonna bite you really hard, and you need to train him what's okay and what's not okay. And yeah, like 3 days later, they brought him back. Be like, he bit me really hard and blah blah blah, and I'm just scared to have him around my kids. And I'm like, I told you there's gonna be like a 2 week adjustment period where they're gonna act psycho. They're gonna act like nut. And then she handed him to me, and he just like limp in my arms. And I'm like, and she's like, he didn't act like that at all. I'm like, yeah, because he knows that I don't put up with his shit. So
Yep.
he's
See,
reverting.
ferrets are super adorable, but
It's a trap!
like they're ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous little creatures.
Yep.
I give Florida a hard time there, Ivy. Like, I like Florida. Honestly, like I think Florida is one of the like best representations of like America. Like, I don't know, like, but Florida's just nuts.
Yeah.
So I like to give Florida a hard time because, my goodness, they're like there wouldn't be a meme like Florida man if like Florida wasn't ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like you can literally put anything after the title Florida Man, and it's believable. Yeah, it's a weasel. What do people expect? Yeah,
Yep.
I tell people their personality is kind of in between a dog and a cat, but they're in the weasel family and they really like shiny stuff. So if
Oh,
you
and
ever
that's
lose the car
yeah,
keys, look under the couch or anywhere. Like it's
the
like they
trick. And I would always tell people this too whenever they get a ferret. I'm like, they will steal things. They'll make a little nest. If you find their nest, don't disrupt it. Do not take it apart. Do not clean it up. Leave it. And they would look at me weird. And I'd say, well, that way, if anything goes missing, you know where to look.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't mess with your ferret's nest.
Yep.
But yeah, what I always like to tell people too is they will find like every small place and anything, and they'll wedge themselves anywhere because that's just what they like to do. And their bodies are literally made for it. They're streamlined. They're meant to go into these small places. And you might not know you have a hole in the wall behind your couch, but sure enough, your ferrets know you have a hole in the wall behind your couch, and they will get there.
Yep.
Gosh, I found my cat. When I first moved into this house, now I have like stuff walling it off, but she weaseled her way back behind my oven and found a way like into this back area, like behind the cabinets. So I'm just like looking everywhere for my dang cat, and like after like a half hour looking for her, all of a sudden I just hear this faint little. And it's like, where the hell is that coming from? Like Tundra. And it's like, oh my god! Like, and so I'm looking. All of a sudden, it's like I'm opening the cabinet. It's like it sounds like she's in the cabinets, and it's like she's not in the cabinets. She's behind the cabinets. I didn't even know you could get behind the cabinets.
Yep.
Danny Ken Aquatics. What's up, Kenny E? Say hi to Danny E for me.
Yep. 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 And it's crazy the amount of people who don't realize that ferrets are weasels. A lot of people just assume that they're rodents.
They're in the same family as the mongoose as well. So, you know, if you want your ferrets to have a lot of fun, put like a fake rubber snake in there and they'll just go crazy.
Cat toys. They love cat toys.
Like cat toys.
Yep. I keep getting an echo, and I don't know why.
It might be me. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Are you echoing or am I echoing?
No, it's me.
Oh. Well, then you might just be talking extra loud at some point, or when we're talking over each other, maybe the voice echo, the echo cancellation between my TV and my computer just messes up. Because I don't use a monitor. I project it right on my TV right in front of me, and so the most of the time the echo cancellation works. But I feel like sometimes when we're actually like talking at the same time is when it just doesn't quite know how to function.
Yeah. How can you confuse a weasel with a rodent? Because they just see a small fuzzy mammal and they just assume it's a rodent.
Yeah. And yeah, they're carnivorous. Like a lot of people will even they'll buy like feeder goldfish and stuff for their ferrets as well.
Yep.
And you can feed them cat food, but actually cat food for them is better than dog food. But they should really have their own like high protein diet food. Like cat food isn't really formulated for them, but it's close enough.
Yeah. I used to buy the little fish fillets that Petco sells, and every now and then I would put that in with the ferrets, and they loved it. The little chicken fillets or the little tuna or um, what was the other fish? I don't remember. Tilapia, I think. I don't remember. But there are these little freeze dried or not freeze dried, vacuum sealed pouches.
The family name is Mustelidae because they're musty.
That translates to stinky thieves.
Yep, stinky thieves. It's really funny, because they're actually, it's true, they're quite smelly, and yeah, it's mainly used as like sex pheromones, but it's close enough to a skunk to where it's pretty bad.
And a defense mechanism. So they do what this is called dead sleeping. So they sleep like 18 hours a day. And they go into almost like a comatose phase, kind of like how an opossum will play dead. It goes into like a comatose phase. They'll do that. They'll go into a super deep sleep when they're sleeping, to where if a bigger predator finds them and they try to like bat them around to see if they're awake, in combination with that smell, they'll think that they're dead and then they'll leave them alone.
Mm-hmm. But oh man, it's really funny, you'll get that super concerned customer. Oh my god, is it okay? I'm like, oh yeah, he's fine. I'm like, how do you know? I'm like, trust me, he's fine. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, so I start like poking him a little bit, and he's just like not doing anything, and like, are you sure he's okay? I'm like, yeah, he's fine, trust me. And then I shake him a little bit more, and he finally gets up, and he's like, oh my god, okay, he's fine. I'm like, yeah, that's just what ferrets do.
And the older they get, the deeper that sleep is. Like it'll take a while. Have you ever had a deaf ferret at your store?
Not that I know of.
So yeah, and you have a deaf ferret that's deep sleep, that is dead sleeping. It's so hard to get them to wake up. Oh my god. But the way we would test it, we would always get a new batch, and albinos are more prone to being deaf. But we would always test it. We'd wait till they're all sleeping, and we wouldn't do it often. It was literally just a test. So don't think that we were like abusing the ferrets, because we weren't. But we would wait till they're all sleeping. We would open the top. If that wasn't enough to like get them stirring, then we'd like hold it up only like 4 or 5 inches, and then just drop the lid, and so it would bang. And if that made them jump awake, then they could hear. But if you would have one or two that like wouldn't move, they were most likely deaf.
Interesting.
Yep. And then of course you take them out, you isolate them, put them on the top of the cage when they're awake, and you start doing snap tests to see if they react to the snapping or clapping. And if they never reacted, then they're probably deaf.
I never really did that, but then like we never had like a concern of having a deaf one either, because I don't think we ever had a deaf one.
The deaf ones always bit the hardest too.
Yeah.
That bit the hardest. Oh my god.
They're more reactionary for sure.
Yes.
But let's see. Yes, there would be some concern with thiaminase for sure. But when it comes down to it, like, I'm not feeding feeder goldfish to my ferrets. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't feed feeder goldfish to anything when it really comes down to it.
I had an old coworker who would get frozen mice.
Yeah, like frozen mice, raising your own fish, stuff like that. Like, yeah, like I personally wouldn't do it, of course, but I'm saying some people do. Like, but there's some people that get feeder goldfish for their Oscars or feeder goldfish for their turtles and stuff like that as well. And it's like when I was sitting there working at the pet store, like I'm sitting there even looking at my own like goldfish feeder tank and just like looking at it as like a tank full of disease. And it's like, I'm just scooping out all this disease to give to your fish. Here you go.
before I really got a handle on the feeder system, when they would break out Nick, I would start asking people. I'm like, they'd be like, "Oh, I need a dozen feeders," and I'm like, "So the feeders are sick right now. Are you feeding them to turtles or are you feeding them to fish?" And they kind of hesitate, and I'm like, "It's because they have ick or they have some kind of bacterial thing. If you're feeding them to turtles, it's fine because it's a fish only thing.
Yeah.
But if you're feeding them to other fish, I don't want to get your fish sick." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm not trying to not sell you something. I'm trying to not get your fish sick."
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like gosh, we had a couple goldfish come in the batch that they were covered in like flukes so bad that this one fish was just like absolutely covered in bumps. It looked like it had like fish leprosy or something. Like it was just all bubbly and it was disgusting. Like I immediately scooped it out and like euthanized it in the bat, like because oh my goodness, like I couldn't even keep it in the tank with everything else. But yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I'm not so worried about the ethical reasons, but yeah, the disease transmission is the main thing with me. Like I like nature is nature. Like if it's a carnivore, it wants to eat, meat, and so that's like frogs eat bugs, and so I'm gonna give my frogs bugs, and same with my gecko and stuff, and like there's a couple like flies and things that get in the house too, and I know sometimes they land in my fish bowl and my betta gets bugs, and these little mosquito fish over here in this bowl get bugs, and so it's like I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all, but that's just what nature is, but yeah, it's the disease transmission.
Yep.
But yeah, like when I get my cuttlefish and stuff too, like cuttlefish only go after live food. So
Yep.
I'm gonna do my best to not have to buy anything. I want to start my own cultures of different things. Start with like larger copepods or something like that when they're like little babies, and then like do like mollies or something too that I can be breeding in salt water already, to where I can have multiple sizes of mollies going, and so I have small ones for the little cuttlefish and bigger ones for when the cuttlefish get bigger, and yeah.
Yeah, only Oscar says the turtles sometimes would not eat the goldfish. After a year, the goldfish get huge. Turtles eventually ate them. Yep. I would explain that to people too when they're like, "Well, I had a turtle and it didn't eat a goldfish and they lived together for years." And I'm like, "Yeah, but one day you could walk in and there's just a whole chunk out of the side of that fish."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's one of those things, because you go to an aquarium and they have schools of fish and manta rays and puffer fish and sharks and all that stuff in one big massive tank, and you're like, how do we not have kids getting traumatized by sharks eating a bunch of fish all the time? And it's
Oh, but
like
apparently they do.
the main thing is that they have a very good set schedule of feedings, and they do heavy feedings, and they make sure that these sharks have enough calories in them at all times to where they're not looking to try and hunt anything. And that's what the main thing is making sure that turtle is always well fed, and then it'll never eat that goldfish, hopefully, but there's always the possibility that it could.
Yep. Oh, and it happens. I think here in St. Louis, Nathan, you were just trying to tell me about it, didn't you? Said a shark. There was a shark that, yeah, that was started eating a stingray like while visitors were there. So yeah, it still happens. They're still wild animals.
Yeah. possums are interesting
I had
creatures.
a customer when I worked at the Brentwood Petco, that their dog got a hold of a baby possum, and like popped its eye and stuff, so they couldn't re-release it, so they kept it as a pet. Her name was Blossom the possum. She was so
Oh yeah.
cute.
Oh yeah, sometimes exceptions happen. I've definitely seen those videos too, but
Yeah.
I've never seen it in person. And so it's like, yeah, it happens, but it really doesn't happen that often.
No. Yeah, it is a weird thing when it happens.
It's like the same thing with those like, freak accidents between the trainers and the dolphins, or the trainers and the orcas. Those things don't normally happen, but it's a freak accident that can happen, and it's something that you should always understand that there's a possibility for it to happen, because these are wild animals. Like,
Yep.
no matter how much we try and like contain these creatures or whatever, we can't domesticate them.
Scotty says our hammerhead gets in moods. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those hammerheads, especially, I've heard that those, when it comes to sharks, hammerheads are definitely ones that have the most attitude. When it really comes down to it, yeah, those horror movies and stuff are always involving like great white sharks and stuff like that. But most of the shark attacks that happen are between hammerhead sharks and nurse sharks.
Yeah.
And but yeah, you always need to understand that those things could happen. And when it really comes down to it, the only animal that has truly been domesticated is the dog.
Yep.
Even cats like aren't like truly domesticated. Like, you have some that can do tricks and they'll listen to you, and most of the time they're pretty well behaved, but I feel like cats in general react more off of instinct than like dogs do. Dogs can be very well trained to act against their own instincts, where you can't really train that out of a cat. You can't train that out of anything else, really. Even having my birds in a cage, like, they have an understanding that their cage is where they're safe, and stuff like that. That's just how they are. But like, they wouldn't be able to survive if I like let them out, which is the other crazy thing though too. Like, they're not like domesticated, but they're not like truly wild either, because they've been living in a cage their entire life.
Yep.
Yeah, bull sharks rank up there too, but that's mainly because bull sharks are like brackish almost. They're actually getting into the freshwater systems, and that's what's causing their numbers to go up so high.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they actually found a bull shark around here.
Yeah.
Right for sharks.
That was, I believe that one was actually a fake story. The bull shark at the arch. I believe that one was actually a fake story. They use like photoshopped images and stuff like that. But there have been bull sharks spotted, I think, as far up as Mississippi.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there was even stories of bull sharks in the Great Lakes, but I don't think they could survive those colder temperatures up there. A female strawberry corn snake in a colony of various garter snake morphs. Yeah, that'd be fun. Garter snakes are cool. And garter snakes are another one of those pet reptiles or whatever that people feed, like feeder goldfish and stuff too. Because, yeah, garter snakes love little fish. They hang around little water systems and ponds and stuff like that, and they'll hunt those little minnows and mosquito fish and all that stuff. And so I love having the garter snake hanging around my pond outside. Now I don't have any of my fish anymore, but my goldfish were always big enough to where I never had to worry about the garter snake going after any of them. But when I start again with tiny goldfish next year, I'm probably gonna have to be looking out for those garter snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, garter snakes they're definitely a lot of fun, and they got a little attitude to them as well, though. So those are one of the snakes that will like just randomly bite you and stuff like that. You won't get that with a lot of different snakes, but those guys, yeah, they'll just bite you. But their bites aren't like anything to worry about. Like, I don't even think they could even really draw blood on a human, really, because their teeth are like sandpaper, basically.
Oh, Nathan says they can. He's been bit by one and drew blood.
Okay.
I was young.
He was young.
Smaller hands.
Yeah, smaller hands.
Yeah,
Thinner
smaller hands.
Thinner
Softer
skin.
Hadn't been broken in yet by manhood. But yeah,
ABC.
I was kind of thinking that too. Like, except maybe like a young kid, they could probably break the softer skin of a young kid. But yeah, their teeth are used for gripping. They're not used for tearing or
injecting
or anything like that. Like vipers or any other sort of creature. Their teeth are literally just to hold on to it and just pull it further into their mouth. They eat their food live.
Yep, they're not venomous, so they don't have those long fangs for injecting or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. They made me jump a couple times there, Mandy. I was never like scared of them. Like, I wouldn't like run away or whatever if I saw a garter snake, but like I'd like pick it up by the tail a little bit and it like, kind of snap at me and I'd jump back a little bit or whatever, but I'd go back to try and pick it up again. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, they do carry illness, like Bonnie Viper is saying. They get bacteria in their mouths from the prey they eat. That's actually very common with like reptiles in general. From the food that they eat, they build up this super harsh bacteria to where, like Komodo dragons, you can't really call them venomous per se, but they have such high levels of bacteria to where, like, if they bite you, like, you have like a 95% chance that it's gonna get infected.
Yeah.
And it's from the prey that they eat in the wild, to where, like, if you were to raise a Komodo dragon from birth and feed it something completely different, like, then it wouldn't necessarily have that bacteria build up. Same with, I believe that's the same with pufferfish. You can also, you can feed pufferfish certain things where they don't build up that super strong toxin. It's the same with a lot of things, actually. It's like, flamingos. The only reason they're pink is because of the specific thing that they eat.
The krill and the shrimp. Yep.
Yeah, the shrimp that they eat makes them turn, pink. They're traditionally white, and the shrimp that they eat are red, and so they turn pink. And dart frogs. Yes, dart frogs is the other one. Yeah. If you raise dart frogs in captivity, they're not toxic.
Yep.
But if you catch them in the wild, like, yeah, you can use the oils on their skin to poison your dart, and then you can easily kill people that way. Yeah, it's the infection that comes from the mouth, exactly, and that's common with a lot of different attacks. But the way that people talk about all different things, it also causes various myths with other sorts of creatures, like the camel spider. One, they're not actually even a spider. They're closer related to like scorpions, but yeah, the only myth about a camel spider that's actually true is they chase people, but they're not actually like chasing you. They're chasing your shadow because they're nocturnal and they don't want to be in the sun. They want to be in the dark, cool place. And so as you're moving away, they just want to keep staying in your shadow. But it's like their bite is not like super crazy to where it's going to completely tear you apart, even though they have like the 4 jaws and stuff like that. They're not venomous at all. You'd have to really spend a whole lot of time in the desert not getting that bite treated for it to actually like get infected and all that stuff. Like the likeliness of that bite actually becoming deadly is just like really, really low. Like you'd have to just absolutely not seek like any treatment at all and just like rub it all in the sand of the desert to actually have it do something. And
That's not how you're supposed to treat your wounds. You're not supposed to like dirt in them.
I mean, that's what the military taught me. You rub some dirt in it and spit on it and just like rub it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kill people, you say. Matt always popping out of nowhere. Kill people, you say. Yep, vampire tetras also have that bacteria. Oh my goodness. She's just sitting there in between my legs, just looking up at me. It's like, are you gonna hold me? You gonna pick me up? And that's what I mean. This cat chose me.
Yep. Tired but still working. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt.
I am so happy I have those swordtail babies.
Yeah.
Can't wait to. I really hope that I get a full colony out of them. That would just be really awesome. Yes, wet tobacco will draw poison out from venomous bites and stings. Did you know? Apparently, the whole sucking the venom out of a wound or whatever is actually like apparently that's like something that can't like actually happen.
Yep, I knew that. So
like the whole thing you see in movies, it's like complete crap. You can't actually do that at all.
What you want to do is actually make a tourniquet.
Yeah.
If it's something really venomous and on a extremity that you can tourniquet.
Right. You want to prevent it from spreading.
Yep.
The idea that you can suck it out is just, you can't do that. Quit trying to get yourself eaten by the cat. My goodness, what are you doing? Oh, I've been working on a parody song.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
I've been actually putting work into a parody song. The song is complete. I have it recorded and everything. It's just I was gonna go out and do some filming today, but I didn't end up going to do that. So I'm probably gonna do some tomorrow, and maybe do some more filming on Monday if I don't get enough tomorrow, and then hopefully I'll get that video out real soon. I have like my general plan of what the video is going to be like. So I'm really excited to get that out for people because I know you guys like my parody songs. It's been a while since I put one out. There's man, when I put that first one out, I got like super hardcore addicted to it at first. I was just popping them out at first, but yeah, it got to be a lot of work and high expectations and all that too. And
Yep.
have I don't think that's necessary. He likes standing on my glasses as it is.
Right.
But yeah, that would be kind of funny with the hat, with the whole perch attached to it. That'd be funny.
Scott Squatty, what's up? What's up?
But yep, it's the song is bilingual, and so that's gonna be a lot of fun. I will have subtitles so that when it's in the other language, you can still see read it in English. But yeah, other than that, like I don't want to necessarily. Oh, whoops! Didn't mean to start playing nothing there. Yeah, see, at first it made me a little bit nervous. I don't really mind it so much. The only thing that I'm worried about is him like pooping on my head.
Yeah.
But so far, he hasn't pooped on me.
That's
Other
good.
than like, he's pooped on my hand before. Like I've had him perched on my finger and he dropped one before, but he's never pooped on my shoulder. He's never pooped on my head. Luckily, knock on wood, make sure he doesn't do it at all. But yeah, I always get a look. That's the only thing that really makes me nervous about it. But I don't want him always like landing on my head. I'd rather not have him on my head. I'd rather have him sit on like my shoulder or something.
Yes, only Oscars. One thing I learned quick: don't remove the poop right away. Let it dry a bit. It comes off in one piece. Yep.
Yeah. Unless it's not like just poop.
Yeah. Or if you just gave them some fruit and it's really runny poop, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. A slight tease. It was to come. Yeah, I was gonna give a slight tease, but I didn't mean it to be the beginning. No, the only tease you guys are gonna get is this. There you go. If you know what song that is, then
Nathan does.
I give my kudos to you because I absolutely love that song.
Yeah.
And
Nathan smiled real big when you first accidentally played it. He goes, "I know what song that is." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, I was really happy to do this one. It's one of my favorite songs, and the lyrics just popped out. It's like, oh, that's perfect. So I'm really excited to get that one out for people. I've been jamming it myself already, and it's just like, I gotta share this with people. But I don't just want to share the song. I want to share like the whole thing, the whole image.
Bunny says the white part in the bird's poop is actually urine. Yep, that's the urates.
Yep. It all comes out from the same area and sometimes at the same time.
Yep.
Pop goes the weasel. It does kind of sound like that, yeah. Yeah, all this talk about ferrets, that's what the song is. It's Pop Goes the Weasel.
Yep. So my store has a TikTok. I think it's just Marine Solutions. And my coworker just made a video or a TikTok about the sales that we have this weekend. It was funny because she spent like an hour on it, and she's putting all the captions in, and she's like, "Oh, I have to look at the prices." And my coworker, our other coworker, pointed out, he's like, "You can't list the prices on TikTok; they'll take it down. YouTube and TikTok, you can't advertise selling animals and pretty much selling anything." Like, oh, you're right. TikTok doesn't like talking money at all.
Yeah,
So
see, that's one of the reasons like my boss gave me about getting mad about my Glassbox Hero music video. It's like,
yeah,
you showed prices and all this. I'm like, I'm not like selling the fish, and it's not like I'm sitting there like showing up close like this fish is this price and this fish is this price. Like I was just scanning the tanks and scanning through the items on the shelves, and if you happen to look at what the price was, like whatever, it's not going to be the same thing in a year anyway. People are like, wow, look at how much everything was cheaper a year ago. That's the only thing they're going to see about it. Like,
so she's like, so I spent an hour on this and I can't even post it. And I go, no, you can post like how much % it's off. And she's like, well, some of the videos have the prices that are written on the tank. And I'm like, that's fine because you're not saying the prices and you're not putting it in the captions or anything. It's just on the video, so it probably won't get flagged. But you can't put it in the text. You can put like it's this, 20% off, 30% off for this weekend only, but you can't talk money.
Yep.
She's quite proud of it. It's a really good TikTok.
Big shrimp and Naracadinas.
There you go. Your next one.
I was saying, big shrimping with the stanky cheese. How you doing, Big Shrimping? Great to see you. And George RB3 is here. I saw him pop in a little bit earlier. Forgot to say hi. He's got a live stream coming up. Fishy dad jokes and more.
Mm-hmm.
I love dad jokes. Oh yeah, no, my boss was totally overreacting. Like, I guess you don't know the whole story, Lady Rorschach, is I don't think you were around my channel when I first put Glassbox Hero out. I made the whole video, and like when I was in the process of making the video, I did some of the filming on a day that we were like incredibly slow. There was like nobody in the store. Everything was all clean and everything was good to go. So I just did a couple little quick shots with my phone real quick. But then something happened like later in the night to where I don't remember what happened. But basically my boss ended up looking at the cameras that night and saw me going around with my phone at certain points. And so she got mad at me about filming when I was on the clock, thinking about how I'm trying to, do all these things from whatever else. And I care more about my YouTube channel over the job and blah, 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 whatever else. And so it's just like, okay, like I understand I'm not going to film on the clock anymore. It won't happen. Trust me. Like, and here I am thinking to myself, like, you'll be lucky if I ever film in this place again with the attitude you're giving to me. I'll just go film at Petco where they won't give me an attitude. But anyway, the situation seemed to be resolved. So it's like I put out my Glassbox Hero music video. People love it. and I'm already like working on my next one, Algae, at the time. And I think I might have even put Algae out. But like, yeah, it was after Algae. I put Algae out, and I told another one of my coworkers, like, hey, I put out a couple parody songs on my YouTube channel. You should go check them out. Now, I don't think he had any sort of animosity behind it. I don't think there was any sort of negative connotation behind it. I think he was just like, hey, Danny put out these music videos. They're pretty good. You should go check them out, to my boss. And so my boss ended up going and checking out the music video. So then she sees the Glassbox Hero music video, and she sees the clips of me filming in the store, and doesn't correlate the two, that those were already the clips that I had filmed like 2 months ago from our conversation about not filming in the store already. So
Yeah.
she flipped out on me, got really mad. No matter what I was saying, it didn't matter to her. I'm like, we already talked about this. I'm already not filming in the store. I did this a while ago. She made me take it down. So I at first was thinking to myself, well, maybe I'll just mark it as unlisted. Maybe I'll just make it private. That way I'm not like actually deleting it from YouTube, because like I put a lot of work into it and stuff like that. But then it's like, no, with the type of person my boss is, she probably saved the link just to make sure that I actually delete the video. And so I deleted it. And then like an hour later, she comes back and was like, hey, so yeah, I talked to Kelly, her boss, about the video. She said, that it was okay as long as, not to be like filming in the store anymore. And so you can go ahead and, put the video back up. And so it's just like, I already lost 466 views. Like,
Yeah.
screw you. Like that, I put so much work into that. And so I was out of spite or whatever, like I wasn't even gonna post it back up. But then like I was talking during like a Terry's Tropical Tanks live stream about how it's just like my boss made me delete it and all that stuff. And I'm just like, I don't even know if I want to repost it. And people were like, no, like definitely, like put it back up. Like I love it. Like, I want to listen to it again. And so I posted it again, and I think it's back up to like 450 views again now, which is just awesome. And I appreciate everybody for going and watching it over and over, because I know it's not 450 different people going and watching it. I know people are watching it multiple times, and I really, really appreciate all of you that just enjoy it and just want to keep listening to it. And yeah, without people telling me to like repost that and stuff like that, like I probably would have like stopped making parody songs right then and there, just because of how like that whole interaction and everything with my boss just made me feel. Because like, man, like she wanted to control like every aspect of my life when it really came down to it. And I'm really glad to be out of that situation now. I still go shopping there, but if I see her SUV in the parking lot, I immediately turn around and leave, because I just don't want to deal with her even being in the same store as me. Even if I don't have to say a single word to her, I don't want the chance of me having to go back there and get crickets from her. I want to
Yeah.
get it from one of the other, coworkers and stuff that I had. And it's like almost nobody that I even worked with is there anymore. I think a couple of the groomers and like the fish guy, Logan, is still there, but now he's like a manager or something like that too. But I don't even know if he's making manager pay with the way that she deals with things up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole story about, the Glassbox Hero music video, and how it almost cost me my job at one point, and I almost like quit YouTube because of that. And Just like it was not fun. Can I put the link up again? I don't really like it. I'm sure I got a mod in here that can post that video for me, so I don't have to go looking that up myself. But yeah, it's actually, if you just go to my channel, it's the very first video right there on my channel. I have it listed under my my intro video. So yeah, it's right there. And yeah, thanks for doing that there, George. Oh yeah, and she's like narcissistic. Of the what's the word? The certain type of narcissist. A vindictive narcissist, I believe, is the type that she is, and also the a weak narcissist, where like everything is everybody else's fault, and a vulnerable narcissist. Yeah, that's the word. Is a vulnerable narcissist. Everything is going to cause problems. Everything is everybody else's fault, and if somebody does something slightly wrong, it's all going to come down on like her, and it's going to make her look bad. So you can't do anything wrong. Yeah, that's the sort of thing.
Yeah.
Misfit is next with his adult game night. Yes, starting at 11:30 Eastern Time, 10:30 Central Standard Time, or Central Time. What I would call Standard Time, because I live in the Central Time Zone. Oh, it's okay there, Mandy. Thank you for sharing it again. Did you see my Discord message? Yeah. Did not remember the previous conversation, or at least acted like she didn't. And I think the real big thing though too is like I didn't have the I guess the guts to like really stand up for myself super hardcore either, because of like the position I was in. Like I didn't want to lose my job. I liked my job and stuff like that, so I didn't want to like really push hardcore. But yeah, there was one point that she's like, well, why don't we just show Kelly the video and see what she thinks? And I should have been like, yes, go ahead, show Kelly and let me see what she thinks. And if she wants me to take down the video, I'll take down the video. If she enjoys it, you shut your goddamn mouth and leave me alone. I should have said something like that, but like, I don't know. She was my boss, and like I didn't want her to talk bad about me to Kelly either or anything like that. Well, it was weird. Like, yeah, her boss loved me, and she hated me. So it's because she was fearful that I was going to take her job.
Yeah.
Yep. They're definitely pathetic human beings. I've dealt with a couple of them myself. Seems like everybody has at least one narcissist in their life. Sometimes it's your parent, sometimes it's your boss, sometimes it's a friend of yours.
Sometimes it's your partner.
Yeah, sometimes it's your
Look at you, Nathan. No, I'm kidding.
No, my ex-fiance too. She was a narcissist, but she wasn't like a vindictive one or whatever either. And so like most of the time, like I didn't know. It wasn't until like after I was like out of the situation and did a lot of reflecting and therapy and stuff like that, that a lot of the things really started to click together about that.
Sometimes it's you.
Sometimes it's you. Yeah, sometimes it is you. Just like you there, Mike. New local.
You think I'm a narcissist? No, I do not think you're a narcissist. I was joking.
I also think that the term narcissist is greatly overused by many people as well. I think in general, like TikTok and stuff like that has done a good job of making people aware of mental illness, but on the other hand, it's made people like utilize mental illness like as like everybody's got a mental illness apparently, and it's like if everybody's got a mental illness, I think something's wrong.
Yeah.
What
People
time do
all
we stream to?
the
Generally 10 p.m. Central Time. We got about 19 minutes left now. 18 if you're going by the actual clock. I'm going by how long we've been live streaming. We started about a minute late, so let me go about a minute late there. And yeah, I'm sure everybody's got at least one ex that thinks that they're a narcissist too. But yeah, she liked to, before she ended up, dying and stuff like that too. Yeah, she did try and tell stories about how I was controlling and I did all these different things. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to get all into that though. Totally get it, Danny. I had to go through a similar process regarding a family member's narcissism. Yes, mental health terms have been abused to death. Yeah. Yeah. It's like almost like having a mental illness is like having a special skill nowadays. Like it makes you it makes you a better person almost. Like, oh, I have bipolar, multiple personality disorder, and all this other stuff. Like, worship me. It's like, what? Like I am autistic, but I don't like make like a big deal out of it. If I have a certain interaction with people, I like to make it known. It's like I'm sorry, like I'm autistic, like some of this stuff doesn't quite make sense to me, but I'm working through it. Like, can you explain that a little bit better for me? Like that's the only time like I really, really like bring it out. But a lot of the time, if I say that to people too, they don't even believe me because I have been like masking my entire life, and I'm able to use, I'm able to verbalize a whole lot more than like most people can. But when it really comes down to it, words don't seem to work for me the same way they do for other people, and sometimes I struggle to find the right word that I want to use, and so I just use a different word that kind of makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense to other people. And so then I have to find myself like explaining around what I really meant versus like just being able to use the word that I actually wanted to use.
yeah.
Pedzotics and James B. Small tank 5-gallon. If room goes down to 63, heater size. Oh, okay. So you got a 5-gallon tank. If the room goes down to 63, what heater size would you use? When it really comes down to it, even in a small tank, I would get a higher rated heater. Especially if the room is getting colder than that. Now, you can find some very good heaters that are rated for bigger tanks that are actually still very small. Aqueon actually makes some really good preset heaters for like 20-gallon tanks even that are still only like 5-6 inches tall. So that'd be a great heater for one of those. I think, and that's actually what I use, like a tank, a heater rated for like a 10-gallon tank in like a 2.6 fluval, like all-in-one sort of tank. Now the heater itself is actually in like the back chamber, like where the pump is, so you don't see it inside the tank at all. But that's just my general thing when it comes to heaters in a fish tank is the heater is the weakest form of machinery that you're going to be putting in your tank. It's the most likely to fail. So always get something higher rated than what your actual tank is. If you have a 20-gallon tank, get a heater rated for a 30-gallon. If you got a 40-gallon tank, get a heater rated for a 60 or a 70-gallon. Like, that's just what I like to do, because those heaters are not going to have to work as hard to heat the smaller volume of water. So since it's not working as hard, it has less of a chance to break down. Like, do you want to work at a constant sprint, or would you rather get from point A to point B by walking or a light jog? I think I would rather walk or a light jog than have to sprint all the way there. So
Yeah.
that's just what I do. Good. I would absolutely die inside if I hurt your feelings somehow. I know. I just keep cold water fish. Yeah. Yeah, if your room's getting cold, just keep cold water fish.
Yep.
I'm a grumpy old crazy weirdo. Do I have a mental illness? Or you do have a mental illness, and it's called Okay Boomer. Yeah. People think mental illness is cool, and it's the trendy thing to have today. It's like the more oppressed you are, the cooler you are. So layer on the oppression. Sometimes things get misconstrued when things get misconstrued when you're typing, lost in translation. Sometimes context is messed up just with chat, and that's a big thing too. Like with between like chat and live streaming, there's like I'll say something, and then there's like a whole like 15-second delay before your chat even pops up from here, from like when you're like hearing what I say to when understanding what I say to when typing it to then when it actually pops up, to where I'll say something right now and then the whole topic might change, and then you'll just be like, exactly right, that was funny. And then I'll just be like, I don't know what you're talking about. What was funny? I was just talking about somebody that died. What's funny at all? Like, context gets completely screwed up, and it can really mess with some relationships. And that's why I just stay off of Facebook now. I've been off of Facebook for like 2 years now. Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff I've been for like over 2 years now. So yeah, it just causes lots of problems most of the time. Social media, it can bring people together really well. Like sometimes it works. Like, hey, it brought this like whole family of fish keepers together here through YouTube, and a lot of you continue the interaction through other forms of social media, but not me. I don't get in on all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's bad. I'm secretly waiting for me to upset someone, not anyone in particular, just in general. Really, yeah. I'm kind of, yeah. Sometimes upsetting people is kind of fun.
Trolling. You like to troll?
Yeah. Playing devil's advocate or whatever, And that's actually where I would get in the most trouble too. You know, Bunny said Facebook is the devil's playground. Exactly. And I would have some fun on Facebook for sure. Um, Playing devil's advocate and all that. And it would get me in some trouble sometimes though too, because I would never like truly share my own opinion. I just would like play with some other opinions, and if somebody would say something, I just like would pipe back with something completely off the wall, and like, but it's some people's reasoning or whatever, and it just, yeah, I just have fun, and I just like to keep the comment thing going. If you can get 200 300 comments, it's like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. And yeah, I tried to do that for a while, using Instagram to just support other stuff. I don't really see a lot of harm in like Instagram in general. Sharing pictures, sharing images of what you're selling, trying to get people to go over to your other media and stuff like that. I just don't like a lot of the other things involved with their tracking and stuff like that. Is the main thing. I was on Facebook for years, and my mom taught me to keep up with the state family. They were just as bad, if not worse, than most crazes out there. No, exactly. I I had deleted Facebook for like about a year, and then I started dating a girl, and like things were going pretty well between us. And so then like I got a Facebook again just so that I could like share some pictures of us, share things that we're doing, stuff like that, and get more, try and be more involved with just things in general. And it seemed to work out for a while. But then it's like, I don't know, like eventually me and that girl broke up, and then it's like I just like it's like Facebook is stupid again. So I just got back off of Facebook. Yeah, I guess I have a hard time of just staying out of it, really. Um and so yeah, I just stay completely out of it now. Yeah, it's a toxic vat for sure. I just know at some point someone is going to get really upset at something I will say, have said, or you know what, Brendan, you made me real mad several times, not including me in your game night.
How dare he?
How dare you have all this fun with Cards Against Humanity and stuff and not include me? Now I know it's all with the Discord and stuff, and I'm not part of your Discord, and so that's the main reason why I'm not involved in that stuff. I know. Oh man, don't get me started on ads. I've done a lot of like research and stuff into advertising and like how it works, and oh my goodness, advertising is just funny when you see it from like a point of understanding. Versus the way that they trick people. Like even just putting the color green on a label makes people automatically think it's healthier.
Yep.
Like it's so easy to manipulate people. It's ridiculous. It's easier to manipulate someone than it is to convince somebody that they're being manipulated. You're allowed to have your opinion. Yeah, exactly. I always say if you want to join, message me. Exactly. I know. I just don't message you. I don't message anybody though. I'm terrible at that. I don't reach out to like anybody. I am
Brennan,
terrible at that.
Brennan, he shouldn't have to message you. You should just read his mind and
Yeah,
know that he wants to join. Duh.
you should reach out to me and ask me if I want to be part of it because I'm special.
Yeah, who's the narcissist? What?
I know.
Uh,
Oh,
no.
right. Yeah. Post like 3 things on Twitter before you just go ultimate psycho. Right. Yeah. Twitter is for sure like the devil's playground, and there I don't get those things. I'm much happier not dealing with that stuff. But I mean, when it really comes down to it, you can't completely escape all that stuff. Yeah, I want an engraved invitation.
Like a bunny style invitation, like pretty calligraphy, wax stamp, everything. Notarized.
I'm a little bit psycho. Yeah. I think we're all a little crazy for sure.
Yeah.
Everybody has like some form of like narcissistic tendencies, Like if you can't like you
Yeah,
can't be alive and not be like worried about yourself. Like you have to take care of yourself at some point. But
humans
yeah,
are
it's
just
more about
selfish
the
by nature.
levels.
It's how we protect ourselves.
See, I didn't get a singing telegram. Stephen
Oh.
P got a singing telegram. Like, I am your singing telegram. I love the old Clue movie with Tim Curry. That's such a good movie. If you guys haven't seen that movie, definitely go check it out. It's a classic. Yeah. Lady Rorschach, I never would have guessed that you like psychology with the name, Rorschach.
Right?
But no, I love psychology. I was thinking about going to school for psychology, majoring in that and all that, and using that to more get into like the FBI and things like that. I'm looking at all of it now. I'm really glad I didn't go down the path that I originally wanted to and ended up in the FBI and stuff like that. Because I mean, look at those guys now. But yeah, I love psychology and sociology and just learning about what makes people tick. RAY Aquatics, how's it going?
Catching us at the last minute.
I'm not sending anyone or have sent anyone until I get one myself. Okay.
That can be arranged. Don't tempt me. I'll do it.
Singing telegram. Yeah, singing telegram. That's something I've thought about. Little, I thought about doing like little shorts, um, like miniature parodies, and just doing like shorts. But then it's like, then everybody's just be like, do the whole song. So then I'll have to do the whole song. So, but I've already done the one, like when I did my with the saltwater tank. I did the painted black little miniature parody thing. Craniofacial reconstructionist. Nice. I wanted to be a part of me wanted to do like crime scene investigation. But yeah, I actually wanted to get more into psychology, counterintelligence, stuff like that. In fact, even when I was in the Army, I was originally going for counterintelligence psyops, um, messing with people's heads. But I didn't want to change states. The closest job they had available for that would have been in Indiana, and I didn't want to have to drive all the way to Indiana from Missouri once a month because I was in the National Guard. So I went with my second choice of military police, and that's how I ended up there. Yeah, don't regret necessarily anything I went through. But I wouldn't do it again if given the choice. Human behavior and animal behavior are incredibly fascinating. I'm looking into comparative and evolutionary psychology for my further education. Put two loves together. Yeah, and it's really crazy that you can almost break down human behavior as just animal behavior. Like, there's pretty much nothing that humans do that isn't like just animalistic instinct almost.
Yep.
But we'll have to continue this conversation another time. We have hit our 2-hour mark, and we're just going to keep rambling on forever if I don't stop it now. Legally, though. Well, I appreciate everybody for coming out and hanging out with us, talking about all the crazy stuff we talked about. We talked about everything from ferret breeding to human psychology to lots of different fun things. So I hope you learned something. And even if you didn't learn something, I hope you had a good time hanging out with everybody tonight. I hope to see everybody again next week. And let's see, look out for Gina's giveaway stream.
Yes.
And look out for my community tab. I'll be sharing more information about my giveaway stream here soon. Predictable. I just wanted to post that because that's funny. And and thank you everybody for participating in that poll that I did on my community tab as well about what your favorite parody song that I've released so far. If you haven't participated in that poll, look on my community tab and place your vote on what's your favorite parody song that I've released so far. It's been really interesting to see what the results have been, and I look forward to closing out. Well, I don't know if I'll ever actually close the poll or if you can close the poll, but it's just been interesting to see what people think. And, leave me a comment on there too. Give me a reasoning as to why you picked what song you did. And it definitely, helps me out to make even better content for you next time.
Yep,
Gina, is there anything you wanted to say to the people before we closed out?
No, just thanks for hanging out. It was fun. I'll see you guys next year.
Yeah.
Bye.
Marco was a great guest as always.
Yeah,
thanks everybody. We'll see you in Misfits Adult Game Night in about a half hour. And so long. Thanks for the fish.